Find the center and radius of the following circles, then graph the equation and label each with at least 4 ordered pairs. Notice that this equation is given to us in general form. We want to put this in standard form so that we can more easily see the center and radius. To do that, step 1 is to group x's and y's separately, and we're going to move the constant. So we want to put the x's together, x squared minus 2x, leave a blank spot, plus y squared minus 4y, leave a blank spot, and then add the 4 over to the right side. And the reason we're leaving blank spots is we want to, in step 2, complete the square. We want to complete the square on the x's and the y's. So we're leaving those blank spots to add in b over 2 squared. So looking at the x's, b in this case is -2. So we have -2 over 2 squared. That's -1 squared, or 1. 1 is what we add in to the left. And if you add it to the left, make sure you add it to the right side as well. Keep your equation balanced. That creates a perfect square trinomial. We can rewrite this as x something squared, and that something is always going to be b over 2. The quantity b over 2 before you square it is -1. That goes in the parentheses. And we're going to do the same thing on the y's. Complete the square. So b over 2 squared. Looking at b on the y's, we get -4 over 2 squared. That is -2 squared, or 4. So that's what we add in beside the y's. And if you do it on the left side of the equal sign, we need to balance it out by doing the same thing on the right side. That creates a perfect square trinomial. With the y's, we can factor it as y something squared. That something is always b over 2. In this case, b over 2 is -2. And that's equal to 9. Notice what we have now is in standard form. Once you have standard form, we can relatively easily find the center. That is 1, 2. Then the radius is the square root of 9, which is 3. From here, we can graph. The center is at 1, 2. We can get 4 additional points by going up, down, left, and right, 3 units for the radius. So up 3, right 3, down 3, and left 1, 2, 3. Play connected outside of a circle. And we've got our graph. Up next, again, we want to start by putting the x terms together, leave a blank spot, and put the y terms together, equals -1, moving the constant to the right side. Complete the square on the x's. So b over 2 squared. b is 6. Cut it in half. And we get 3. And square 3, and we get 9. So 9 is what we add in beside the x's to get that perfect square trinomial. If you do it on the left, make sure you do it on the right side as well. And notice y squared is already a perfect square. So we don't have to do anything extra to it. Looking at the x's, we can factor as x plus b over 2, which again is 3 squared, plus y squared equals 8. Notice we now have standard form of a circle. Looking at this, we can find the center to be -3, 0. And then the radius is the square root of 8, which simplifies to 2 root 2. From here, we can graph. We have -3, 0. And the 2 root 2 is roughly 2.8. So we'll have to sketch or approximately graph this circle. So that's not quite 3. Go up 2.8, right 2.8, down 2.8, and left 2.8. Again, just approximating these since we have that irrational number for our radius. And we've got a circle. In this example, notice that the coefficients on x squared and y squared are not 1. So the first thing we need to do is make those be 1, because our next step is to complete the square. And in order to complete the square, we need to have coefficients on x squared and y squared of 1. Divide everything by 2. That will force those to be a positive 1. X squared plus y squared minus 6x plus 4y minus 12 equals 0. From here, group the x terms together, leave a blank spot, put the y's together, blank spot, and add the constant, add that 12 over. Next, complete the square on the x's, b over 2. Squared. B is negative 6. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. Negative 3 squared is 9. That's what we add in on the left. And again, we need to do the same thing on the right side. For the y's, again, complete the square using b over 2 squared. B is 4. Cut that in half, and we get 2 squared, which is 4. Add 4 beside the y's, and again, do the same thing on the right side. Factor your perfect square trinomial. On the x's, b over 2 goes in there, so we have negative 3. And on the y's, again, what we put in beside the y is b over 2, which in this case is 2. And that's equal to 25. From here, we can see that the center is 3, negative 2, and the radius is 5, square root of 25. To graph this, plot the center, 3, negative 2, and now we go up, down, left, right, 5 units. Once we have our 4 points, we can draw a circle.